Well, thank you so much for doing this. I do appreciate it. It'll be a good time.
Of
So,
course, thank
kind of like
you.
what I was saying is like, I want to, first off, the selfish part of it for me is like getting to meet people. I love talking to fun, especially creative people who are like really interesting. And VRChat has a plenty of those. VRChat TikTokers are a special breed, and I'm sure you two are more familiar than I am on that. Um,
Very
the
much so.
the selfless part of what I'm doing is I kind of just want to pump other people's channels. Like, there's really little in it for me. Like, my day job is social media, and I just love doing it. So if I could have this interview with you and get some content up for you without you having to do any of the back end editing, like, I think that's pretty cool. And I hope you guys have a fun time with that. Um,
Yeah, of course.
the questions I typically try to have some fun ones and some serious ones. If there's anything you don't want to divulge, like, feel free, you don't have to. If you say anything that like you want to take back, you didn't think you said it right, or it just didn't work out, you could tell me and I won't include it. So like, I'm not trying to get you in a gotcha moment. I'm not trying to have the next scandal or the next drama pop up. I'm just here to have a good time. That being said, do y'all have any questions
Yeah.
for me?
No, and I guess just to let you know a little backstory behind our relationship, we actually met in VRChat,
Oh,
and now I
really?
live with him in real life.
Whoa.
Um, so like we're together, physically and virtually.
So, what
Yeah,
was that change
that
like going from VR to actually living together?
Um,
this man puts two cheeses in a fucking gallon Ziploc bag. Like, drives me insane.
Unironically, it was not very different, except for the fact that we see each other every day now.
Yeah, so I get to actually see and be with him when he shits himself most of the time.
Oh my gosh.
So that's been pretty fun if you ask me.
So, how did you two originally meet in VR chat?
So we actually met here in a black cat. I was on desktop as a tiny Pusheen cat. I was crossfaded. I was really drunk, and he was in full body dancing as a Spartan downstairs. Oh, and I asked him. I went up to him, and I love Spartans. I've played Halo most of my life, and I saw the Spartan. And I was like, I asked him if he could sit on me. He rejected me at first, and I left, and I was asking other people to sit on me. I don't know why. And I went back to him, and I was like, "No one's sitting on me. Can you please sit on me?" And eventually, he did, and yeah, here we are now. uh,
What a beautiful beginning to
my
that
st-
relationship.
still my still my favorite story to tell.
How did you two know that this is going to be a long term relationship? Like, what were the indicators? When was the day? What was the sign?
I don't know. He is just very good at like listening and communicating, at least like reassuring me a lot of the times, because I tend to overthink a lot because I've been in a very lot of toxic relationships most of my life. Um, and he's been the only one that has actually like really treated me well. There was a time where I've taken a picture of his face and posted it online, and I didn't really think much of it, but it like upsetted him, and I was so afraid that he was gonna break up with me because I've been with guys who would break up with me over like the smallest things. So I would always tell him. I just felt bad. I don't know what his reasons are. Do you know anything?
But being long term,
Yeah.
um, just someone I can generally like talk to and feel like I can communicate all my problems with. Like, I haven't. I've only been in two relationships, my ex and then her. And even with my ex, I didn't have the comfortability of being able to just talk about just whatever's on my mind, or if we can have arguments with one another, and it's generally fine. Like, we can resolve them, rather than with my ex or with a lot of people, even friends. Like, you have an argument and you don't talk for weeks or days. With her, it's just we have an argument, we resolve it, and we move on. So, it's been pretty nice. From being even in like Discord to real life. Real life has definitely helped us resolve things faster, but Discord, we were able to still like communicate or hash each other's feelings out and be like, all right, yeah, I can get with whatever level you want to be on, or make a compromise.
And that, I think, is a really big deal. I think one of the hardest transitions for people who meet in the virtual world and then go and meet each other in the physical world, like they're used to having fun together. Like VRChat's fun, you're always running around and having a good time, but like once you move in, the rubber hits the road, and you got to get used to them and all of their quirks and figure out who's going to be doing the dishes and taking out the trash, and real life starts to get into your relationship. So part of what I want to know is like, how was that transition for you guys?
It's kind of, so it's a lot of that, actually, figuring out what each other needs to do. Like, she's I am not the cleanest of people, not in terms of like things are dirty, but everything's just kind of a mess. Like, I have just clothes piled up somewhere. Even if they're clean, they're just piled up. My room's disorganized at times. My counter will have a ton of bottles and then no bottles, stuff like that. Dishes never get done usually until it's like they're piled up and then we do them all at once. Whereas with her, she was very do the dishes, get the trash out, clean up a lot of stuff, and that's something we've still been like going on and on about. One major thing with that as well is just so we don't live just us two together. It's her, myself, and my brother, and a lot of the turmoil is like him and I are brothers. He is still like old traits of me, so he still leaves a mess, so on and so forth like that, which has been a really big hurdle and a whole reason we're going to move out. But it's a lot of just figuring out what each other needs to do, or ask the person to do it and then kind of ride them until they get going on it.
Yeah, because that's just how I was raised. My mom was very like, if you use any dishes, just clean them before you leave the kitchen, because you're just going to forget about it and then you're not going to want to do it later. And I would find myself not wanting to do them all the time later. So I just did it after I make my food. I would just clean the dishes real quick and then just go eat, and I didn't have to worry about the dishes later on until it was like just the plates left in my room. But yeah, I was always raised the men take the trash out. That's still what I kind of live by, so sometimes it's a little harder for me to like take the trash out. But I don't know, working as a vet tech has also just kind of helped break that a little bit, because we have to take the trash out ourselves. We don't have anyone else do it for us. So I'll just do it if like, I just get it done with anyways. But otherwise, I've lived here for about a year now, so it's been pretty good now. So we're just trying to get our own place at this point, because we also have a dog that lives with us, and there's just hair everywhere.
Yo, it's so crazy. I'm in a pretty similar boat to the both of you. So I've had a girlfriend. I don't know how long you two have been in a relationship, but my girl and I, we've been going out for 5 years, and we kind of were doing like the college life together, right? So we would see each other on campus. We'd go out and have fun. And in May of this year, she moved in with me and my roommates. So we kind of know what that's like to live with other people within the relationship and some of the tension and struggle that goes along with that. And as of 2 weeks ago, we moved out on our own, and we are now in our own place. We still have boxes to unpack, and I'm getting used to the way that she chews cereal in the morning, and she's getting used to the way of my Chipotle farts. So, it's a balance. It's a balance, and we're trying to figure it out together. So that's so crazy that you guys are in somewhat of a similar boat.
Yeah, it will be 2 years in December.
Well, congrats. I hope you two have an amazing 2 year, and it's just all you could dream. Are you guys going to do anything special for it?
I don't know. Depends where we are. I mean, yeah, it's on Christmas Day, just so we don't forget what day our anniversary is.
Nice.
So, I don't know. It's always on Christmas, so presents.
Yo,
Christmas
speaking of anniversary, today is actually my anniversary with my girlfriend.
Oh, happy anniversary. Is that the 5 years?
Yeah, it's our 5 years today. I'm going to surprise her with some flowers when she gets home. She's at work right now. So it's a little hard because we have different schedules, but yeah, thank you for that. I do. What advice would you have for other people getting into relationships? Like, what are the signs that you would look for and be like, those are green flags and those are red flags?
So for the green flags, obviously that's someone that will communicate with you, someone that, is I know there's always insecurities and jealousies, but you really have to control that, especially in like a social aspect, because it's so easy to get jealous over one little thing. There was this one point where this girl kept flirting with him in front of me, and we've told her to stop, at least hint it to to stop doing that, because she knew that he was already seeing me. So why flirt? But apparently, she did it with all her friends, which is kind of a red flag to me. But I was never like angry at him. I was more angry at her. So it was because he would always just try to like curve it off or play it off, like kind of just awkwardly leave. But she just she just I don't know. She kept doing it until one day she heard me talking shit and I got in trouble for it. But it's whatever. Someone who is willing to talk to you even after they're mad or being mad at this moment. I know sometimes like with us, we usually take a minute to like cool off before we go back to talking with each other. As far as red flags, I don't know, there's a lot of things. Um, I can't really think of any on the spot. Obviously someone who's juggling a lot of people at once. When they get easily angry or jealous when you're around, friends or just talking with anyone, wanting them or wanting you all for themselves, I think is a real big red flag. Like, we're all adults, or you're gonna grow into an adult. And I feel like people should have freedom and some independence other than being codependent all the time. Oh no, do you have any?
Red flags or just general advice?
General advice or flag
Whatever you
for
got. Whatever's on your mind.
Oh, well, like general advice, and it's more of a common issue in VRChat rather than real life. In VRChat, what I see a lot of issue is that people are so desperate to get into a relationship because they see all these relationships that they see someone, there's like a slight spark there, and then they immediately cling to them with like in a week to even a month. Personally, I know I've only been in 2 relationships. I've had a lot of friends be in relationships, and the ones that are still lasting are the ones that took a long time to build up. Now, ones that are like short term, you meet, you hook up, whatever, they can work out, but it's like lightning in a bottle almost. I generally see a lot of like just short burst relationships, a lot of heartbreak, friends split up just because someone thought they had a crush on someone and got into it too fast. With that, like red flags in that kind of regard, a lot of anger issues. Like there's a lot of tension that'll be in a relationship, regardless, no matter what you do. Being angry is part of the red flag, but it's owning up to the fact that you got angry and trying to improve yourself. Personally, I have really bad anger outbursts. I get angry at small things, but I don't know if it's a green flag, but trying to correct or owning up that you've made a mistake and just saying that, like, oh, I'm sorry, and try to, like, force yourself to work on it in the future. Not holding it or blaming it on something else. You just have to have your own accountability for stuff like that. But, I don't know. Like, other than that, if you can be accountable for your own actions and then work to improve them, I think that's a definite positive.
Gotcha. And I think you hit on a lot of good points there. Oh, yeah. Got any more?
Yeah, and then people need to stop being horny. That's the only other red flag.
So true. So true.
And, obviously loneliness can play a big part ever since the COVID. With the, social distancing, the lockdown, all that stuff. So
what I hear about relationships in VRChat is that they burn hot, they burn fast, and then they burn out. And it's kind of what you were getting to there, Zip. It's like they were so they went head over heels for one another. And it's because of that they didn't establish the core of who the relationship was. So as soon as they hit any rocky road, any turmoil, even with other people just coming in and flirting with them, they didn't have the stability of that relationship to really last beyond any of the obstacles in their way, which is kind of one thing that I think is awesome about what I'm hearing from you two right now. You had a relationship that was built here in VRChat, strong enough to meet in the real world and then move in together. Like, that's got to be a pretty rare story, right?
Yeah, because most of the time people just we always think people just like the avatars and not the actual person. So once they actually start getting to know the real person, they're like, oh, I don't really like you anymore, or you don't really fit my criteria, or, I did try to give it a chance, but it's just not someone I can see a future with. And that's a huge problem because, you have to really get to know the person. Like, it took us 2 months until we started dating because we wanted to get to know each other. And after getting to know him and how silly he is, I was like, yeah, I do want to build a future with you. Because, I don't know, I usually know what I want after, like, really getting to know the person. And a lot of the issues in this game, people be talking for like a week and then they start a relationship and then they could be doing good for a few months, but then it just crashes and burns because of something, or, a small argument, or they just, figure out they don't want to be together because they don't really like how the other person is. So, communication and actually figuring out who this person is a big thing, because I've met many people who say that they've changed themselves in game than they actually are in real life, to give them like a game persona, or like, so people don't really fully know how they are as themselves, which is kind of sad, honestly, but because I'm just like, why hide who you are in a game? You want to be yourself. You want to be honest with your friends, because then it's just like, they don't actually know who you are as a person. I don't think it's fair for them. So that's always a common issue, especially with content creators, because it is a persona. I get a lot of hate on my TikTok because I'm Paimon. We met before I was this avatar. Yeah, I was given this avatar by a friend, and it was just kind of a joke avatar. He was the one that was actually wearing this avatar before I was. And people just call him like, fuck, man, this is why my controller's broken. People call him like a pedophile, and he's like, oh, you like little kids, and it's like, no, he met me before all of this. This is just a persona I'm playing as on TikTok. I'm usually like a cat girl or something. It's been a while since I've been this avatar, so it's, this is not who I am. I'm not this small little child with cat ears. So,
I had absolutely zero intention of asking either of you relationship questions. That was just off the cuff, you two were sitting down as a couple. None of that was actually scheduled. So I'm really glad we got to talk about it, though, and I hope it brings value to your audience. Like, I wonder how many of them are actually struggling with relationships right now. Regardless.
Yeah, because right now,
Go for it.
There's like this huge problem, at least, I mean, it's everywhere, but the TikTok community, a lot of people are getting into relationships, and some of them work, and unfortunately some of them don't, which cause a lot of issues, a lot of drama. So letting people know like what the actual what it is to date in VRChat, it's very different than it is in real life, at least in my opinion, because you're long distance. So because people always see our relationship and they're like, oh man, I want that, I want to meet my lover in VRChat and move in with them and live the happy life. And I'm like, it's not like that. There's struggle, and most of the time people on this game are not here for long term. They want to just have like a quick relationship, or to have someone just love them because they're lonely. So it's just a lot of self-sabotage.
Let's get off relationships for a second. And I kind of want to get into your guys' like TikTok channels. Like, what is it like to be a TikToker? What got you first started? What inspires you to keep going?
Spite.
So
That's funny.
So for me, I actually didn't have TikTok for a while. I was actually watching TikTok through Instagram, and he was the one always being like, "Why are you watching TikTok through Instagram? Like, why don't you just make an account?" I'm like, "No, I could watch two things on one application." Um, I don't know what my mindset was, but I eventually made one. And he was the one that was posting stuff way before I was. He was posting like VRChat, uh, Pavlov stuff. He's an avatar creator, so he would show like all his clones and Spartans and stuff. Um, and eventually I made mine, and I was already like using my Paimon avatar, so I was just like, I'll just make some stuff with Paimon and with him. I thought it was like a kind of a cute like dynamic, kind of like Isabel and Doom guy. That's how I relate us to. Um, or like, well, not really Navi because she's kind of an I don't know, is Navi and Link the same thing? But more like Doom and Isabel. Um, so we would do that, and my stuff started doing really well because I was Paimon. Paimon Genshin at the time was popping off. I started about a year ago, and that's just how my channel kind of did more and more. And then I got really more into it. I would save a bunch of sounds and do a mass recording session of like 20 to 40 TikToks in one day. And I would edit them about 8 to 9 hours the following day. And I would just, post, 1 to 2, 3 times a day. Um, and that was just kind of like another work schedule, really. And since then, I reached to 100K. And it's a big goal, but at the end of the when I reached it, it seemed like nothing really else mattered anymore. Like I thought about deleting my TikTok and starting all over, because getting those like big goals was really like, fun. Like, oh, I hit 10K, 20, 30, 40, etc. And now when you're hit 100K, it's not typically the same, because people tell me, oh, you can hit 200K. I'm like, I mean, it's just not really the same anymore, which it is what it is. I still have fun posting funny stuff on there when I can. But TikTok algorithm is kind of doo-doo right now, so I haven't really had many ideas, and I'm taking a break-ish. I'm posting just what I have in my drafts.
Do you ever play around with
the idea?
Do you ever play around with the idea of making it a profession one day? Like keep grinding, keep going on TikTok until one day the ad revenue comes up and you can do it for a living.
So I do make money on TikTok already. I've made around 400, but I've only reached that much from last year, so it's not a whole bunch. The payment stuff on TikTok is kind of doo-doo as well. It's a few cents per 1,000 views, and I've only made 100 or 400 since October of last year. So it's not the best. I do have a real life job in real life, so I don't have to like financially support myself through just TikTok. I have a stable income. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. He's the one who makes most of the money because he's an assistant manager. So I just kind of do little stuff. He always tells me to stream, but streaming for me has just kind of been not the same. So it's been really hard to like actually pressure myself into it, but I don't want to pressure myself into it. But yeah, otherwise I enjoy like giving advice to smaller content creators, having them meet their lovely comfort TikTokers, and just kind of helping the community in some way, especially all the problems it has itself. So
That's on a. Do you have anything on that, Son?
For like, in terms of just like advice or like the money or any ideas.
Like if you ever wanted to make money on it one day. My follow-up questions after this are going to be, what's the good side of being a VRChat TikToker, and what's the dark side of being a VRChat TikToker? So, any of those you want to peel off?
Well, quick thing on the money side. I don't think being a TikToker is financially stable unless you're like a already popular person. Because TikTok has a creator fund, which is a limited pool of money that it will give to everyone throughout an amount of time throughout the year, and then it'll refresh it when the new year starts. So going into TikTok for financial purposes is not a great idea, but it is a great way to like build your platform. So money, no, social platform, yes.
Do you want to answer one question?
Going over the like good and bad sides of TikTok, great sides for people like me who just like making short little videos for me and my friends. Like everybody loves their little gaming clips that they share in Discords or whatever. Having a good way to put those out that's not Vine, great, awesome. You can be really creative. There's tons of creativity on the platform as well. Dark sides of TikTok, it'll burn you out because TikTok likes to promote you at random points, and then it just shuts all that down, and it'll make you try to crave that high again. So you just keep uploading and pumping stuff out, and everyone just burns themselves out. That, and then people make up fake competitions for themselves. They make it a numbers game. They don't go about the actual enjoyment of making content. They go off of, I want to beat so-and-so. And it just gets really rough really fast. But if you just ignore all of it and just go into it because you want to have fun, you screw the numbers, whatever, it's for you and your friends, you can have a fantastic time on TikTok, and it will not matter. Yeah.
I think that's going to be awesome for a lot of people.
Yeah, turn around.
So yeah, let's go into what's the good side of being a VRChat TikToker for you, Ray Ray?
I guess it's just really exploring yourself on what you want to become like. I always tell people content creating changes you in two ways. Either in a good way, like, builds up your confidence in meeting people, providing funny stuff, just also saving people. I know a lot of people say, like, there's some TikTokers that are their comfort TikTokers, or like they save them at a dark time, providing that kind of stuff. Or you can change in a bad way, which is becoming egotistic, only thinking about yourself, seeing anyone as a competition, wanting just to grow for the benefit of recognition. Because in VRChat, we get often recognized a lot. And, it's fun, getting recognized and stuff, but sometimes, it gets a little... we're all human, so we all get a little tired, but we still want to, give thanks to the people that recognize us and appreciate our work, so we don't, come off rude. But the people who change for the bad, come off as very rude.
To your question on that, can you tell me a fun story of when you met a fan? Like, what one interaction sticks with you?
So a lot of the time I get recognized in FBT, which is kind of surprising. There was one time where we were just, hanging out. It was like 3 in the morning or something like that. We were watching people dance, and there was this person who was gonna dance on stage, and they came up to us and was like, "I'm so sorry to bother you, but I just want to say I recognized y'all, and I love y'all's work. I love your Spartans. I love your Paimon. I think y'all are really funny. And I'm just gonna go over there now." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And he, went dancing. And I don't know. That was like the last. Well, that was not the last time. I don't know. I think that was like the most memorable, especially since I don't really remember a whole lot. Like, it's super late at night. He gets recognized even when I'm not with him. So, I don't know if he has any funny moments.
No, I just run away.
So yeah, is there any more good side of what it's like to be a TikToker, VRChat TikToker, you guys want to hit on, or do you guys want to go into the dark side?
Otherwise, being a good TikToker, being part of a community is also a great thing, because there's also the VRChat streamers. They're a whole type of different community, kind of the same, but obviously they stream on Twitch, so they're not... Some of them have their own opinions about TikTokers, and some of the TikTokers have their own opinions about the VRChat streamers, which, happens a lot. But the community I help run has been the best community so far. It's been good despite its struggles. There's some problematic people here and there, but me and Kira are quickly to resolve it most of the time. At least we try to, the best we can. There's only so much we can do in a social game. But otherwise, making new friends, finding connections, possibly meeting up one day. Those are always the fun things in general. Even though it's a more content creating community, it's kind of still kind of the same as just being friends in a social game. we just do content instead.
Yeah.
I think it's just a great way for a lot of people who would have like a lot of social anxiety to like actually get out there and make content. That, and it's very reassuring for a lot of people to make content and like have some sort of creative outlet, because creativity is very different for a lot of different people. Some people are great artists, some people are great photographers, video editors, so on and so forth. Some people work well with like creating avatars, and just having a way in a community that it's VRChat's big, but it's still tight knit to where a lot of people will recognize each other. And having that sense of like community really helps a lot of people's mental, regardless of what you think of some people in the community. The overall net positive VRChat gives, especially for content creation on TikTok, just kind of helps a lot. Because like on TikTok, mostly everybody knows each other from VRChat, or everybody knows each other's VRChat TikTok, stuff like that. So it's really nice. Even though I'm not really in it anymore, except with her, I still recognize a ton of people. So I think it helps loads.
Yeah, that was one thing that kind of drew me to TikTok, VRChat as a whole. Like VRChat's currently, in my mind, at the perfect size, right? It's big enough to where it's like network adoption. A lot more people are coming in. People are getting their headsets for Christmas. They're jumping onto the game. It's the biggest current, VR social game out there. And at the same time, it's not big enough yet to where you can make connections with everybody. If there's a world creator you want to go meet, they're right there. You can go and contact them. If you want to jump into the TikTok scene, it wasn't the hardest for me to come and find you guys, right? Like you're one person away from me. I met Lady Kira, and the next thing I know, bang, I'm talking to the both of you. So to me, it's the perfect size right now to have a fostered and like flowering community. So that's why I had to jump in and see what it was about. I started my journey like a year ago back in December, and man, this place has been absolutely crazy. Like I came from a normal life in the real world where like everything was, real world stuff, jumped into here, and it was like culture shock. The fact that like head pats are customary. I had to learn what ERP was. I didn't even know what that was. It was culture shock coming in here. So what are your thoughts on that aspect of the community? Like how different is it than IRL for you two?
How different it is. The one problem in VRChat, well, I don't know about his, but in my opinion, people tend to lack a lot of common sense in a lot of situations. Then I feel like real life people, I don't know. In my experiences, there was a lot of common sense that would play a part of a lot of things. But in VRChat, there are situations that happen, and I don't know. It's very. I'm like, where's your common sense? Or maybe people do have common sense, but they don't care because it's an online game, so there's no consequences, at least to their real life aspect. But there's still consequences. You can lose, a lot of your friends. You can be exposed for whatever that you've done or said that, will spread like wildfire, especially in a smallish, biggish community like TikTok. And I don't know. I think that's like the main big problem in this game, at least from all the situations I've handled. A lot of it was a lot of common sense kind of stuff, and people just seem to have not like really used their brain in certain situations. As like in real life, if someone gives you a fake $100 bill, you're not gonna obviously take it. You're gonna be like, oh, this is not real. I don't use it. So it's just kind of small, big things like that.
VRChat is it's definitely a different experience compared to real life, but playing any game like Team Fortress 2, any kind of like social aspect game, like you go into the game and yeah, VRChat's very social oriented, but it has like the unspoken rule book with it. I think any game has that whatsoever. VRChat especially, just because it's based off the fact that it's a social experience, and then the community kind of helps pick up the slack in a lot of ways. You're building it from the ground up, so it's going back onto the community-based side of it. Like whereas real life, there are cultures. VRChat itself is one culture, and then there's a bunch of like off branches to it. So it's definitely like anyone hopping into VRChat. I had my brother come in at one point, and he is just blew his mind of what was like customary, seeing people hug around walls, not understanding what's going on there, seeing a lot of people in like e-girl, e-boys, scanty, skimpy clothing for a lot of them. It's just everything. Seeing people from different video games, just different hotspots of where people hook up. It's like going to a mall, but it's just all virtual. Because some people treat VRChat like a video game, and they don't, no consequence, whatever, they can log off at any time. And then for other people, like one of my friends, he has 13,000 hours of this game. It is his life. He acts no differently from real life to this game. So it's very like person to person basis, but everybody kind of knows. Everybody who stays in VRChat knows the culture around it. They know about Just H. They know about the Black Cat. There's little gotcha, little funny moments. Uganda Knuckles, obviously from 2017. Everybody knows it's a dead meme now, but everybody remembers it for obvious reasons. Like someone outside of VRChat isn't gonna know, but as soon as you get in, everybody kind of has a general understanding of one another.
So we've kind of touched on it now, but let's see if we can get any focus on it. What would you say are the dark sides of being a VRChat TikToker?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. One, there's a massive grooming problem in VRChat. A lot of grooming situations that I've dealt with. A lot of pedophiles, dating age gap, people lying about their ages, people stealing content and claiming as their own, harassment, of course. There's some really dark clubs in VRChat, or like dark groups, that if you're interested, I can get you to meet up with Verum. Verum does a lot of like underground investigation. He's also exposed the top VRChat predator and got him to get off of VRChat and stuff like that. So there's some really dark stuff in VRChat, even though it's just an online social game. Were you talking about like TikTok or just VRChat in general?
That works. So that works for VRChat. Now tell me about TikTok.
TikTok, there's also kind of the same issues. On TikTok, there's people that will lie about their age, dating age gap, pedophiles, grooming as well. Once I catch wind and see evidence of all of it, I usually make an announcement in our server as a beware of this TikToker. There's been a few instances where I've had to actually ban some TikTokers and make bewares out of them because of proof and evidence. The recent one was a domestic violence case, which I helped made people be aware of, and she actually got banned off of TikTok. I never made it public on TikTok. I made it only a server thing. Some other TikTokers took it on the application or on the app, which I can't stop them from what they do. But I never made it public on the application itself. So just more stuff like that. We try to be aware of who's malicious people that are wanting to become content creators, because that's also the same way for VRChat streamers. There's some really bad streamers that people don't like. It's just kind of the same thing with TikTok. And unfortunately, we don't know how people are until like they actually do something and someone rats them out. Then that's a whole different case, and that's what me and Kira mostly handle most of the time. So it's you just have to kind of play your cards right, really, and kind of go off of best judgment.
My biggest issues that would be the downsides of being a VRChat TikToker would mainly be, or could be summed up as, egos and people who get a little too high and mighty for their audience size, or gatekeeping is a huge issue. So with VRChat TikTok, obviously TikTok uses the same audio for multiple videos, and people are just going to have similar style videos because it's both VRChat and similar sounds. And there's a lot of turmoil in a lot of people just because it's the way it is, and people think that they own a sound because they used it for VRChat first. That and just a lot of people's egos in terms of like their viewer size, or if they have a video blow up, constantly talking about numbers. What I kind of talked about earlier, just like it's all numbers to them. They don't care about their audience, or maybe they do to a degree, but they don't see them as the same way as like people, and they just see them as like an overarching math number that they just want to keep raising up. There's a lot of people who will be fake to their detriment because they want to do all these meetups or whatever, and then when people find out that they're not who they are in their videos, it's kind of soul crushing to them. So it can really burn out a lot of people. One of the biggest issues with burnout is a lot of people think they get shadow banned because they make the same content over and over, and TikTok's algorithm is constantly changing every day. So one of the darkest sides is people just getting overly depressed because they think they're doing something wrong. But really, it's just TikTok being itself. It's constantly trying to do new things so nobody can keep up with it, and just pumping people up and then shooting them back out because it's a giant business at the end of the day. It just wants watch time and numbers and you to stay on the app. So that's the biggest issue with me, is just how many people it just mentally destroys or changes for the worst.
What would your advice be to those people?
I'd go back to make content for fun, and if you're not having fun, do multiple outlets. Stream, upload your same TikTok shorts to YouTube shorts. Make YouTube videos. Have stuff for just your friends. I won't say his name, but one of the TikTok creators I ended up being good friends with, he had a really big blow up in numbers, and then it just crashed, and he was getting 12 views a video, and it bothered him for a good 6 months until he just gave up. All of his videos are friends only. He legitimately only makes videos for friends now. Comments on a tons of videos. Still in the community. Still plays VRChat. Makes YouTube videos now, and he couldn't be happier. He's focused on himself in terms of he's gone to complete avatar making, and like videos are just a side project for him. And if any blow up, he's happy, but otherwise it doesn't bother him too much anymore. So just don't focus on views. Just do it for your own enjoyment. And if you get benefit out of it, great. If you don't, you didn't lose anything.
Gotcha. Now, slightly different question, I guess kind of the same. Let me know if this is different for you. What would your advice be to new TikTokers, people who want to start a channel?
So for new TikTokers, create as much as you want, as long as you're having fun with it. Engage with your comments. I am very notorious of almost replying to every comment on my videos. And obviously, on the old algorithm, the more comments you get, the more it would push your video out for just more random people. Now, that doesn't really count as much anymore, but I still do it, and my videos still do, barely. I never am under 1,000 views on my video. So just keep continuing to have fun with it. Continue to meet people and be open to meeting new people. Don't close your off to only a specific group, because one, if the group falls apart, you're alone. Two, people will just kind of see like you think that you're kind of better than them, especially for ongoing new TikTokers. Be very open to meeting new people, and just make friends. If you're experiencing burnout, be sure to take a break, or like what I'm doing, I'm taking a break because I was busy, or I wasn't busy, but I was experiencing the emotional distraught or mental distraught of why my views doing so bad with the new algorithm. But then I always remember TikTok is constantly changing. It's not me, it's the app itself. So don't let that discourage you. I will say, there is drama in the TikTok community, but I always tell people there's drama everywhere. In friend groups, real life, gaming, so streaming. It just depends how it's handled and how much you let it affect you. I am the main person who deals with all the drama, but even despite all the drama, I still think it's a wonderful community and very welcoming and opening for other people or new TikTokers. And I'm not going to hold people's hands, though. I built my platform from the ground up with just me. I never did any collabs. I did like one collab with my friend Nizuri, and obviously with him, but it was just constantly me. So don't rely on others. Just, you're only you can build your platform. No one else can. So just do it for fun. The recognition will come and go. As long as you're just doing it for fun and not for fame, then you will continue to be happy doing it. Obviously, there'll be new experiences, but uh, at the end of the day, it's just for fun, really. At least for me.
Gotcha.
If you're trying to find success on TikTok, if you're a newer content creator and you want success, the best option that you could have is, if you want to do VRChat specifically, still find a niche within that. There's tons of niches out there. The biggest ones to blow up are like Five Nights at Freddy's, Genshin Impact, anything kind of gaming related or any in that kind of realm. Just know, find a niche you're happy with and you could do for all your videos or majority of your videos. I have seen so many people who have gone into FNAF just for while they blow up, just to realize that they don't like the community at all. So in FNAF, they will pump your numbers, but as soon as you stop doing Five Nights at Freddy's or FNAF, they'll drop like a rock, and you have to be okay with that. So, like, know what you're getting into. If you want to do Team Fortress 2, if you want to do just meme skits, if you want to do relationship content, if you want to find your own quirk and try to build off of that, we have Probe G who does wiggle videos all the time. That's his niche. That's just what he does. That's what he's known for. Us, it's Spartan and Paimon. Anything along those lines. You just got to find something and be okay with sticking with it. Or if you want to change down the road, be okay with it. Your numbers are going to just drop like a rock for a while, and you're going to have to just find a way to build them back up. It's as long as you're like accept those facts and you generally have a good time.
Awesome. I love to hear it. I think you've given a lot of good advice. It's going to help a lot of people. So first off, let me just say that. Thank you so much. Secondly, are you okay if we do a lightning round? I throw questions at you. You answer things really fast. Bang, bang. You down for that?
Sure. Let me just get a drink of water real quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has been a good one though. You two are a good time. What I was surprised at when meeting the both of you was just how well thought out you two are. I mean, it looks as though you're really good on camera to begin with, but like some of these questions I asked weren't necessarily easy ones. And you had very well thought out answers to a lot of them, especially pertaining to things like what it's like to be on TikTok and like how you would help people who are on the come up. It seems as though it's something you guys have thought about a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of TikTok creators that are in VRChat. That and since VRChat's still pretty young, to be honest, there's like just a lot more people in it now than even when we started. So I'd hate to say that we're like veterans by any means, because I'm definitely not a veteran, but just like in terms of understanding how it works and being okay with the fact that a lot of stuff like that's happening, it kind of gives you like your 2 cents, kind of like how someone older would tell you like what they've learned from trials and issues that they've had.
And also for me, like, I've done a few interviews previously before for TikTokers, so I'm used to being on the camera. I used to stream and, talk constantly on stream. I've met a ton of streamers. I've met TMF Johnny, Big Boy, all of those people.
Welcome to VRChat.
And they've taught me, the ways of content creating as well. Well, not TMF Johnny, obviously. I just kind of met him, and we were just all in a world. But just friends along the way. He's been longer on the game than I have. I've only been on this game since 2020. I think he's been on it since 17, 18?
17.
Something like that. Yeah. So he's been here longer than I have. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's also really easy to learn. At least all of the stuff that kind of goes down with content creating. It's not that complicated, but it's not that easy as well.
Gotcha. Well, all right. You two ready for a lightning round?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I'll take Ray first, and then Slen, you can go right after her. Again,
Alrighty.
You don't have to take these seriously. You can just have fun with them. They're just silly questions anyways, kind of get to know you sort of things. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. What is your favorite cereal?
Tricks.
Lucky Charms.
What was your first VR game?
Beat Saber.
Among Us. Oh wait, VR like in this. Sorry, VRChat. I thought you meant like games in VRChat. I was like Among Us. Okay, yeah.
What is your favorite anime?
Cowboy Bebop.
Uh, uh, co- uh, uh, uh,
Go Geass.
Code Geass.
What is your favorite kind of music? Who are your top artists?
The Neighborhood. I like rock, screamo, metal, pop, lo-fi. But The Neighborhood, Disturbed, System of a Down, Dark, Mr. Kitty, Dark, After Dark. Those are pretty good.
Genre 90s underground hip hop. As for an artist with a different kind of song, is Topaz.
Why does Timeless always take his shirt off?
He's hot.
Cause he used to be a stripper.
Oh.
If you could change one characteristic about yourself, what would it be?
Not get so angry.
Not being stupid.
What is your secret obsession that nobody knows about?
Tiny cups.
Constantly starting a new Minecraft world and not finishing the last one.
He's insane.
What makes you hopeful?
Hopeful. A future. That makes me hopeful.
A steady job.
Nice. I like it. Congratulations. You finished the interview. You made it.
Oh my god.
You
Hell yeah.
marathoned it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely awesome. One more side question I got for you is, now that you've kind of gone through like the RK special, right? Who else would you think would be really good for an interview? Anyone that you would recommend for me?
Varum would be really good for you. I think Wuxi, if he is able to. You already did Lady Kira. Nanako would be a good one. And I think Adora and probably Big Boy if he's willing to. I think Big Boy would have a lot of stories for you.
Sounds good. Anyone from you, Slen?
Mainly Wuxi and I say Wuxi or Adora. Adora Pup.
Yeah, Adora
It'd be
is
fun because
good.
Adora Pup's an avatar creator.
Ooh.
I don't
She's
know.
a furry
That's just a personal
avatar
preference.
creator.
That too, but I like hearing avatar creators talk about their process.
So one thing I want to
True.
do, and I can cut it here, but like one thing I want to do is I want to start pumping avatar creators. Like I want to start shooting promos for them and getting them on TikTok. I don't see enough of that, right?
True.
Yeah, it's true.
lot
Adora
of
is
them
a
are
really
cooped
good, a big one. She makes furry avatars, and we met her in Ferality, which is a furry convention, which was
VR
something
one.
I was mentioning to you, I believe. VR furry convention. That's where we met her. And she makes really good avatars. I was using her avatar when I met her, so I felt kind of awkward because I
Oh,
was
so
just in her
cool.
avatar, and I'm not used to, meeting the creators. Other than him, he's constantly meet people who's in his Spartans. So yeah, Adora would be a good one.
Powder would be a
can't think-
fantastic one if you can get her. I don't know how often
I don't think
she
she
plays VRChat
plays.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't think she plays VR.
But she still makes she still makes avatars or like specifically hair
Hmm.
and a lot of that. She likes to do that still. So I don't know if she hops in for that reason or not.
I don't know any other. Well, I know Kay makes avatars, but he doesn't. I don't think he sells his avatars. He just makes them. Yeah, I think Adora would probably be your best bet. She's a friend of ours, and she's on, so I can always introduce you to her. If she has free time, or they, sorry.
That's so cool. Like I'm saying,
yeah,
I think these creators, they're always in the lab. They're always cooking. They're probably not out there communicating their projects as much as they could be. I really think it'd be awesome if like TikTokers spent the time with them. You know, I'm doing an interview show. I could do an interview with them. Maybe someone just does a promo for them on their TikTok channels. Like, I think that'd be so cool to connect those two communities.
Yeah, Adora and their partner both make avatars. Brat Bun is also a big furry avatar. So just let me know if you ever want to meet them.
Will do. I'll hit you up later, but like, hey, it's 8:30. I want to say goodbye to everyone else that came into the world first, and I got to go make dinner for a 5-year anniversary, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I gotta.
Enjoy your anniversary.
Will do.